the 2023 general election. So get your PVCs in readiness to vote in the elections. Today on the program, discos apologize as Nigerians suffer prolonged power outages due to insufficient electricity generation and allocation. I'll be hanging out with returning Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Mayor Akipolu. It's been a while. Jide, welcome back.
Yes, I'm happy to be back on this beat, and I want to congratulate my elder brother, friend, and football adversary over the unusual victory
I'm going to another territory
of Arsenal yesterday.
Oh,
you know, sometimes you have to admit when the Arsenal supporters were abusing Arteta. I remember that Pep Guardiola said, "This guy is clever. I see some of the tricks that he's using, even when I'm not playing against him." I held on to that thing. That this guy
was building the team.
Pep Guardiola doesn't talk anyhow. But the Arsenal supporters were not patient. They were calling him all kinds of names. It's useless. Oh, he lost 12 matches in the season, including Mayor. Today, I was reading something that Olise posted on Twitter. I've never seen a practicing coach pay compliments to another team in the manner that Olise did. Go and read that Twitter post on Arsenal, talking about how tactical the team is on and off the ball, how they move into dangerous pockets that the opponent will not. You know, so Arsenal is a team now that anybody, any Arsenal supporter should be happy with. And they should apologize publicly, beginning with Mayor, to Arteta for all the name calling, for the insults, when the man was trying to build a team that all of them will be happy with. I congratulated Arsenal. My post yesterday was on Facebook. Some of them were abusing me, graceless winners. They didn't know how to say, I thank you for them. They were abusing me when I acknowledged that, yes, this is a great thing.
Let me
Mayor has to apologize.
No, let me start by acknowledging your maturity and your knowledge of football. And also, yes, I want to apologize publicly to Arteta because I was one of those that didn't believe in him. You know, the Arsenal job was his first managerial job, and all of us thought it was too big for him. And because it started, even under his watch, for the first time in 25 years, we didn't qualify for Europe. So all of us felt this job is too big for this guy. But like he said, those who understand football, Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho, all of them said, look, this man is a very good coach. They should give him time. I remember when Pep Guardiola was talking directly to the board and said, give this guy time. We have to leave it there.
Yeah.
So, if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Away from sport. Now let's begin with insecurity. The sole administrator of Idiato North local government area of Imo State, Chris Ohizu, who was abducted last week by gunmen, has been beheaded after his abductors allegedly collected 6 million naira as ransom. Video of his beheading surfaced online on Sunday when his killers insisted that there will be no election in the zone. This is another dimension to it. The Southeast, in spite of the fact that the momentum Mr. Peter Obi is having across the country, but there are some elements in the Southeast that are still saying that no to election in the Southeast, and this might affect the turnout of voters if things like this continue.
Yes, so some of the killings are not even election related. It's like some mad people are just killing people for fun. Many of our friends are reluctant now to even go to the Southeast. A lot of them that we interview them all the way from Abuja. People are scared to go to their country homes. And you know how our friends from the East like to go home, especially at Christmas. All of the money that they make in the other parts of the country, they are happy to go home and celebrate with their kids and kin. But these murderers are making life difficult for people, especially in Anambra and Imo. Around the boundary between Anambra and Imo, they're just killing people for fun. I mean, you can't go out on Mondays, even after the group that instituted the sit-at-home policy said it's no longer on every Mondays. It will be only when they are taking Nnamdi Kanu to court. These boys are continuing to kill people. Now politicians, once you are a politician, you are an endangered species. They don't even want to hear. One guy was lucky that they saw him wearing Peter Obi's t-shirt. They said, what has Peter Obi done for you in your life? The guy quickly said he has done nothing, sir. They said, okay, this is a warning to you. They then shot the tires of his car. On another day, those bullets will have been pumped into his body.
Honestly.
Because we've seen people killed like that.
Extremely lucky.
Yes. And then after that, they went to Ebonyi, a meeting of the APC, and killed 2 persons during the meeting, and then they walked away. The painful thing is, they keep killing people. They are not being arrested. How many of these guys have been arrested?
Faceless people.
They just keep people and walk away. Do you know that some of them don't even cover their faces, and they still post the videos? Look at how painful it is. The sort of thing that Boko Haram was doing around 2013 to 2015, beheading people and filming it. Al-Qaeda kind of terrorist actions. That's what they are doing now. It's just terrible, and I hope that something can be done quickly to put an end to what is this very killing of our people in the southeast.
Mayor, this is it's important for us to face the reality. The reality is that some members of IPOB and ESN has gone rogue, and they are the ones creating this. They are the so-called unknown gunmen, because they've long before now they've made their intention known that they don't believe in the government of Nigeria existing in that geopolitical zone. They don't want election, and they've attacked a lot of our
people. Not
but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. That's what I said the other time, is that the problem with such organizations is that when you start, you don't know the head of it. It will get to a point that the leaders of that organization will not be able to control the rank and file, because some people will go rogue. They didn't have power before. Suddenly they believe they have power now, and they can make people, force people to do what they want. And the instrument that they are using is force. So I want to join Jay to say that the Nigerian state cannot abandon Southeast for these criminals. It is important that we show that the state has the capacity to take them on. There was a time we took them on, and they were able to arrest and kill a lot of them. But it seems they're getting back as the election is coming. We need to do that mop up again, because every Nigerian should be entitled to vote wherever they may be, including people in the Southeast.
All right. What can be likened to a political earthquake has hit Delta State chapter of the People's Democratic Party? Members of the mainstream PDP in the state's Delta Unity Group have declared support for the All Progressive Congress, APC, for the 2023 elections. The Deputy President of the Senate and APC governorship candidate in the state, that's Senator Omo-Agege, stated this during a campaign. The group, with more than 25,000 members, is renowned as the strategic and intellectual arm of the Delta PDP.
Yes,
a lot of this alignment and realignment deals to the election.
Yes, I think the contest in Delta State is going to be between James Onanefe Ibori and his erstwhile godson, Mefia Okowa. Okowa, by his actions, is determined to retire Ibori prematurely. And you've seen that the PDP primaries was the primaries of the PDP for various positions.
Yes.
Literally became a winner takes all affair between the Ibori and the Okowa. Ordinarily, you will expect that Okowa, being a big beneficiary of Ibori's benevolence, would make concessions to
respect that lineage are producing.
Make concessions to his godfather, but that's not what we have seen. In key positions, Ibori had his own people, the governor had his own people,
Sponsored.
and the governor's people kept triumphing over Ibori. Even Ibori's daughter needed a rerun before she was able to emerge by a solitary vote. You know?
That.
Yes. Now, that person that emerged, that person that she defeated, has been told to go and contest on the platform of another party, which means that we could still see that guy in the national election contesting against Ibori's daughter. So, many people underrated Okowa and what he's capable of doing, but you've seen clearly now that he has taken complete control of the PDP structures in the state, and his own people are the people winning the primaries. If you ask them,
presidential candidates.
yes, if you ask them, they will tell you, no, there's no quarrel between the two of them, nothing has happened, but the truth is there is no love lost at this time, and the APC is seeking to reap from that by moving closer to Ibori, and that is what Omo-Agege and Ibori, they are trying to team up, and that is what we are seeing now, because when you see high-ranking people like former PDP Board of Trustees member, like former Speaker in the House, like House of Reps, former House of Reps member, and all that, people who had been loyal to Ibori over the years and who had won elections on Ibori's name, you've seen them now happy to go and work for Omo-Agege. That is their own way of trying to pay back Okowa for what he has done to their political godfather. So it will be interesting to see what happens. The governor's candidate, that's the speaker, that's for the governorship of the state, the speaker, Sheriff survived all the arsenal thrown at him, and the Supreme Court eventually said he is the candidate of the party. But I know that it won't end there. We will see some of them team up with Omo-Agege to see if they can teach Okowa a lesson. So this is.
Do you see?
I think
PDP losing ground in
Delta is now a swing state. Delta used to be traditionally a PDP state, but now it's a swing state. Because like you said, the governor, Okowa, because he was very ambitious, believed that the only way he can become the godfather himself is to take over the structure of the party, which he did. Don't forget that he has a lot of money at his disposal, and Ibori does not have that kind of money. So he was able to take control of the structure. But history has a way of repeating itself. It has happened severally. It happened in Lagos during Sarumi and Abala Jobi. It happened in Osho between Ogbeni and Oyetola. It's going to happen again in Delta. Because if Ibori allow Okowa to get away with it, politically, it's finished. That's the reality. And he's too smart to allow that. So what they are going to do is that his own structure within the party, they're going to vote APC. And don't forget that Omo-Agege used to be a member of the Ibori group. In fact, he served under Ibori's government.
He entered the Senate through even the Labour Party when the PDP was very popular. He served in Ibori's government. So he's somebody that is well known to
Ibori. So I see APC swinging that state.
Okay, I am Imi calling from Delta States.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us, Imi.
Welcome from your Omo-Agege, welcome from your break. We welcome you back.
Thank you.
Okay. The issue of IPOP killing local government chairman in Imo State, I think it's unfair. Okay, you people want an independent, and is that the actual way to fight for independent duty? There's a procedure. Okay, if Delta State, my brother, people are behind Okowa. Okowa is working. People love him. Forget this propaganda that people are writing. People love Okowa. People want to vote for PDP. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Imi, for your contribution. The sentiment is still there. Let's
see what happened. We are not God. We don't know what will happen. So we are just waiting. But, you know, in politics, if you tackle me, I will double you. If you hurt me, I would like to hurt you back. Ibori will be swept into the political dustbin if he does not fight back the best way that he can. And if he allows Okowa to get away with this, then he knows this as a politician of note are gone. So I know that he will give it his best shot.
And don't forget the fact that he was also governor at the same time that Ashwaji was governor.
Yes.
So he will feel comfortable working with the presidential candidate of APC because they were governor at about the same time.
All right.
And they were quite close.
We've even seen some of them the other day. Tompolo hosted Ashwaju,
yeah,
you know, in Baramotu.
Yes.
You know, so
and that's a major factor because you see the Ijo area of Delta State, Tompolo is in charge of it.
Okay,
that's why manager was able to beat
break
a sitting governor.
When we come back, we'll talk more. Stay with us.
My brother, my sister, do you know that winning an election is not only about getting the majority vote? For that your candidate to be declared winner of the election, he or she must secure 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all states plus the FCT to be president, and 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all local governments of a state to be governor. This is constitutional, and every presidential candidate has had to pass this threshold. Even governors have had to make this mark to get elected in their states. We live in one country with different languages, religions, and ethnic groups. This is why it is not enough to have only northern votes, or southern votes, or eastern votes, or western votes. The only way to get elected as president or governor is by gaining enough support across the country and states. Let us make sure that we know now so that we don't cause an issue tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO. How important is comfort to you? Is it as important as the day you discovered that self-love is the start of good life? Here is a comfort that your self-love, Iderade, transit into your serenity. The opportunity awaits you on this peace of mind as you pay in installments of 24 months with initial deposit of 500,000 naira. Serenity at its finest.
The ministry is constructing interstate and other road projects in the region to increase the number of road infrastructure and to add to the national road network. And within the period under review, a total in terms of distance, we were talking about 102.5 kilometers and 5 number bridges. The next slide shows the various roads. There's a list of the roads, the location state by state, the distance, and the performance level, the achievements level. Those completed, you'll say we have 100%. Those that are ongoing are at various stages of completion.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Aruna, Isi, Akman, Uduka, how will I want to on election day? On election day, I go take my PVC. When I declare the vote, I broom I go put my hand over Tinubu. On election day, I go take my PVC. When I declare the vote, I broom I go put my hand over Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC. The party wey show broom. No forget na broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I try to vote, I go put my hand over Tinubu.
Welcome back. So ultimately,
yes, what I was saying, I said in
State.
Delta State, because Delta State is unique. They have mainly Isoko, Yorubo, Anioma, and Icho. But this man, government Tompolo, is in charge of the Ijo part of the state. I remember when Governor Duaga wanted to run for Senate, Tompolo insisted on James Manager. The manager went to Senate about maybe 6 times. So he's in charge there.
After serving for 8 years as governor, we couldn't make the Senate.
Because when you look at the area, his own senatorial district, part of it falls to that Ijo side. And that is the man that has the resources, that has the boys on ground, that have the ammunition, and he's not doing APC. So a lot of effort. That's why I said Delta is in play. Anything can happen, yes, but Delta, that is traditionally a PDP state, is in play.
Judy?
Yes, in every election year, we see this kind of crisis happening. People find it difficult to forgive one another.
Godfather
people
and
wanting to pay back those who offended them. You can see what's happening in Kebbi. Alero, the former governor, Adamu Alero, fell out with the governor. He's the one who brought the governor, made him governor. Fell out with him. He had to leave the party for him. Why won't those people fight against the choice of the governor? They are going to work against the choice of the governor. And a lot of his people, including the majority leader of the Nigerian Senate, left the APC for the PDP because the governor worked against them. Politics is a very cruel thing, and a lot of the people in politics are very cold-minded people. So, and you can be sure that they will wait for one another. You use the election to make a point.
All right. Following arrival of 3 ship to shore cranes and 10 rubber tirade grenades, critical to the beginning of the operations of the Lekki Deep Sea Port, the first commercial vessel berthed at the port on Sunday. This came ahead of President Muhammadu Buhari's inauguration of the $1.5 billion Lekki Deep Sea Port. The Nigerian Port Authority says arrival of the vessel, owned and operated by a French shipping firm, represents a major step towards berthing Nigeria's first deep sea port. Wow, Mayor.
I am deeply happy of what is happening there. It shows that when there is a vision, there's nothing you cannot achieve. That's why you have to, whether we like it or not, we have to commend the leadership and vision of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and those who have ruled Lagos after him, Fashola, Ambode, and the present governor. Because what they've done there is to show a roadmap of how we can be great. Our ports are the ports that Oyibo people have given us from time immemorial. And then they cannot even, there's not even space for them to expand. So it's not technologically based. But somebody had a vision that, look, it is not only in Lagos that you have free trade zones. There is free trade zones in Calabar. There's a free trade zones in Olokola. But the free trade zone in Lagos is up and running. That's where Dangote is. That's why the seaport is. That's where a lot of companies are there. And this is the most advanced port in the whole of Africa. And it is privately built. The government just gave leadership, vision, and the space. So it's a build and transfer project.
No, that build, operate, and transfer.
Yes, build, operate, and transfer. So it's owned by individuals who raised the 1.5 billion to do that project. All Nigerians should be proud of what they've achieved there because that's the best seaport when it comes to telecology in the North Africa.
You know, this is a milestone.
Yes, it is. And I was reading about the ports. It makes me extremely happy because I know that this is just the beginning and the future is quite bright. Look at what the Minister of Aviation was saying about the airport that is coming to this same corridor. You know, how it will benefit people, even right up to Ijebu-Ode.
Ijebu-Ode, yes.
When you have that airport.
You don't need to come to
people, yes, they don't need to land
cross the third mainland again.
They will go and land there. If you are living in Lekki, you are living in Aja, Victoria, you will escape all of the traffic gridlock on the mainland. You will land there. If you are in even in Ijebu-Ode, if you don't want to use the new road that Prince Dapo Abiodun has constructed to link Ekpe to the Ijebu area, you can still, you land in Lekki and then use that road. That was the point I wanted to make. And your journey will be short. You don't need to land in Ikeja and then go through the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, you know. So it will make life so more meaningful to people. The stress will be reduced. All I want to see is for new roads to be constructed in this area because we've been warning so that it doesn't become like another Apapa. Because by the time Dangote refinery officially opens, a lot of traffic will be heading in that side.
But they did the road already. Huh? They finished from that junction, Eleko junction to Ekpe. Is one of the roads that the president will commission. What is remaining is Ekpe to Lekki.
The alternative routes is what you are
because I'm talking about those alternative routes. There are supposed to be 3. The governor of Lagos State told us that they were planning 3 roads that time, and that the Dangote the company was going to build one of those roads. It means with this port, if you have no business coming into, you are coming from Ondo State.
No, there's a road to Ondo State from Dangote.
Yeah.
That is ongoing now.
Yes, there's a road. The governor said 3 roads. That they were planning 3 roads.
Yes.
You know that they were planning 3 roads. That one of them will be constructed by Dangote. Maybe that's the one that you're talking about, is constructing that one. So that if people want to come to do business in Dangote's refinery or his fertilizer company or this port, they don't need to come through Lagos. Through Lagos mainland. They can pass through Ogun State and then get into that axis. Yeah. So that you decongest the main, because right now
the only single Lekki.
Yes, there is just that main road leading to that area
to Lekki.
So all those tankers that are not from Lagos will not need to pass.
They don't need to get into Lagos. That's why they
finish that road now from Eleko to Ekpe. So you just coming from Ogun, enter that Ogun, enter Ekpe. Then from Ekpe is 8 lanes with 2 other lanes. That is like a 10-lane thing. Then you just pass from there to Eleko and you go to the refinery.
So they don't need to come into
They don't need to come
Lagos.
to Lekki Expressway.
How would that help the situation in presently
even that
Tinkana land and this are off?
It depends. If you are from the east, for example, and you want to do business, you don't have to use this port. Through Ogun State, you eat what's this J5 area?
Yes.
You know, you are going from that place. You are going. You are going to the east. Yes, you are going to the east. So you don't need to come to this area.
Okay.
You know, so they don't need to use this port. They can use this new port. It makes life.
But it won't even affect the port because the port in Apapa now cannot cope with the volume of.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So
it will decongest the place and makes life better for everybody.
And if they dredge the Onitsha port, for example, if they dredge it sufficiently, that's another port that people in the east can use.
Yeah.
But except that up to now it's not really.
But they did that in Calabar.
It's not really functioning.
They did it in on there. It didn't work. I don't know why.
I think that of Calabar will probably have worked if Donald Duke had remained in office for some time because he had that vision. So this port is something that really gets me excited. I was reading that we can handle, one of the terminals can handle 2.5 million 20-foot standard containers per year.
My producer is just informing me that President Muhammadu Buhari just arrived at the Lagos State rice mill in Mota. President Muhammadu Buhari to commission the ultra-modern rice mill at Mota.
That's another good thing.
A big project. That's
one of the biggest.
And so we finished it, which is very good.
We're going to take a chopper from there.
Yeah.
And it's going to we'll commission the
Lekki deep sea port and then the Jekerandu
that's the governor of Lagos State
cultural building.
Okay.
So talking about the Lekki deep sea port, we have opportunity to build at least 17 ports. A lot of our ports are there, but they are just not being used. Remember the demand that the southern governors made sometime last year.
Yeah.
That look, we need to build these new ports. The ones that were there that had been abandoned, we should upgrade them and make them useful. Even the governor of Ondo State wanted to build a port in Araromi because the deepest point, the Atlantic, the deepest point in the Atlantic in our country is in that Araromi. And Araromi to Lekki is less than 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But the funding for that kind of project is big. Without federal government support, there's no way a state like Ogun State.
But they can look for federal government. They have one couple in this, and they were able to put it together. 1.5 billion. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Southwest governors receiving President Muhammadu Buhari there. That cited the Governor Dakbo Abiodun, Governor Ibanji, former Governor John Kayode Fayemi, and the host governor at Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
So this port will really stimulate greater business in the Lagos area, and the Dangote refinery will benefit tremendously from this.
In terms of employment, you can imagine Dangote refinery and the port, the quantum of employment.
But you have to add other companies, Kellogg's. There's so many companies there that are operating already. So we should look at, because that's why I said that it is important for us to have leaders with vision. What you need is vision.
Projects.
Then people can now execute that vision. Atlantic Ocean was giving us problems every time. We were spending money every year, and it was eating deep to the roads and was threatening the properties in Victoria Island. Today, that's the most expensive land space in the whole of Nigeria. It's the vision of somebody.
Nobody will remember that.
Yes.
We even had that problem.
Yes.
It's a vision of somebody that
Yes, it was coming. It was
yes,
it
that
was
we
coming.
can conquer this Atlantic Ocean. Everybody said it was impossible, but they did it because somebody just remembered that Holland is below sea level, and they're doing very well.
They're coping,
and they use the same concept there, and there is a city there already now. City.
And I used to
look at the skyscrapers springing up.
Yes, no,
the big city.
You know, somebody looked at the pictures that Bola Ahmed Tinubu's cameraman released on TVC Breakfast, and he said, it's important to keep some of these pictures. The way Oshodi used to look, the way even Mushin, you know, some parts of Mushin,
that road was dualized.
When you now compare what used to be, even when I first got to Lagos in 1999, the
that was the first time you got to Lagos?
No, to work here.
Okay.
You know, the refuse
in Lagos.
Some of the refuse were the height of a skyscraper.
True.
I remember one refuse dump around this market, not far from what is it called? This bridge, Kata Bridge. It was the height of the bridge.
Yeah.
It was the height of the bridge.
Everywhere.
Yes. In front of my office, then, PM News, where you now have Swiss Association in Ogba, there used to be a refuse that was really assailing our nostrils. We could barely breathe.
Same thing.
Big one. Big refuse. I'm not always the dump site. I'm talking about refuse dumps littering the landscape.
I remember that one president said Lagos was the dirtiest city or something.
High-rising refuse dumps. And I remember this lawyer, the famous lawyer, was Osekome.
Mike Osekome.
Describing Bola Ahmed Tinubu as an absentee governor. All because of the refuse dumps.
In Lagos.
Yes. I remember very well. I'm sure Mr. Bayo Nonoga, my boss, too, remember, because that thing pained Ashwaju's mind as when he called him an absentee governor. And he pointed to refuse all over the place. But the administration was new at that time. Suddenly, the idea of PSP came. PSP, and what we now have are litters, not those high-rising refuse all over Lagos anymore. So today, Loma, many people have copied Loma. They copied Lasma.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everybody copying, coming up with
that. Look at the concept of what Lamata is doing.
Bunga is coming from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Bunga.
I want to congratulate the governor for you, and the father of the mother actually the last exhibition. This incoming airport, the national airport, by the time it is concerning, you will see that even from there, even from Benin, people can direct, come there to apply.
Thank you, Bunga. All right, we'll take this final break. When we come back, we'll talk more.
How important is comfort to you? Is it as important as the day you discovered that self-love is the start of good life? Here is a comfort that your self-love, Iderade, translates into your serenity. The opportunity awaits you on this peace of mind as you pay in installments of 24 months with initial deposit of 500,000 naira. Serenity at its finest.
Adopt a pitch. Adopt a facility. Before, that was the National Stadium some years back. And we have so many pictures. That's the Mashuda Biala National Stadium. Last year, this is what it is right now. CAF compliant, FIFA certified. Over 12 international games have been played at this stadium. We have a Nigerian FIFA approved customized reserve bench. We've renovated the players' room, renovated the sauna, and so many others. As I speak, not less than 320 Nigerians go into that stadium every day to use our facilities. The Township Stadium, that's what it was. This is what it is right now. They have about 40 football teams, youth-led football teams.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Haruna, Isi, Akpan, Unduka, how will I want to on election day? On election day, I go take my PVC. When I retire, they vote. I broom, I go put my hand over Tinubu. On election day, I go take my PVC. When I retire, they vote. I broom, I go put my hand over Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC. If party will show broom, not forget now broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I try to vote, I go put my hand over Tinubu.
Welcome back. Nigeria is currently battling nationwide poor power supply and outages causing untold suffering among citizens. Many of the distribution companies, DISCOs, have apologized to their customers, blaming lower power generation and inadequate load allocation by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, for the problem. The outages, which started last week in many parts of the country, has worsened the energy crisis in the country. During the Yota period, New Year, at the point in time, we have experiencing like 21, 22 hours power supply, and I was like, wow, is this Nigeria? All of a sudden, the thing plunged. It's not something that is new, but then because of the heat, because of the weather, it has been difficult to cope. No fuel, no lights.
It's a difficult time to have fuel scarcity. I mean, to have inadequate supply of electricity, but that is what it is. Before I traveled to the Northeast, I was enjoying at least 10, 11 hours of electricity, which is the highest since I moved into my present location in 1999. The highest that I've ever experienced, 10, 11 hours. Now, all that one has evaporated. If we get 1 hour, one whole hour in 24 hours, we will be grateful. We use it to quickly go and pump water and all that. This is the unfortunate situation that we find ourselves. Power generation dropped to 2,200 megawatts from 3,553 megawatts last week. So what we are experiencing is normal. If you have just 2,200 megawatts generated, what do you want the DISCOs to distribute? They won't have enough to distribute. The DISCOs are complaining that what is allocated to them is too small. For example, EEDC, they were allocated 268 megawatts, which is to be distributed to the southeastern states. Now, Ikeja, all of the DISCOs are complaining that what the Transmission Company of Nigeria sent to them is the reason they are unable to provide people, supply our people with electricity. Now, the question is, why is TCN willing as low as 2,200 megawatts? It is because of gas constraints. Gas constraints is a major reason why we have this problem. If we produce, but even the piping of gas in our country, I remember some time ago when we met the minister, we were saying, if our leaders had not been visionless, these gas pipelines should have been sunk far deeper into the ground and make it impossible for vandals to access. A lot of these vandals breach pipelines in the hope that it is actually carrying PMS or crude oil, only to discover that it is gas.
Yes.
And once you are broken it, there's nothing you can do. The gas that is escaping, you cannot pipe, it is useless to you. So that is a problem that happens from time to time. Then even the people who supply gas, sometimes they complain that they are being owed. So for that reason, they will not supply the Gencos. And if they don't supply the Gencos, the Gencos do not have enough gas supply. It means that not all their generators will be kept alive. Only some of them. If you have like 10 generators, maybe you just, about 5 of them, you put on 5 of the generators. That has already reduced the quantum of electricity that you can generate. So the TCN itself will not be able to wheel enough. Of course, TCN too has its own issues with old equipment and all that. So
infrastructure.
At the end of the day, as I always say, the power generation and the electricity production is a relay. The discos are the face of the entire enterprise. So
and they are the most demonized.
They are the ones that we face, they are the ones that we
not knowing that.
But if you do not will enough to them, there is so little that they can actually supply to Nigerians. So this is the thing. We hope that the situation will improve and that alternative sources of electricity will be explored. As long as we depend so much on gas-fired turbines, we will be in trouble.
Mayor, are we going to get over this?
I don't think so. It's going to be with us for some time. And the reason being that, one, the Obasanjo government made a fundamental error. They invested almost $5 billion into energy sector, but most of it was for Gencos, and most of it was turbines. So we have now this problem of getting gas to those turbines. Problem number 2 has to do with transmission. The grid, the national grid, is the one built by Oyimbos when they came. Nobody has done anything about it
until they invested
till now. What they just do is palliatives. So the national grid, even sometimes when the Gencos, when they generate, the transmission, the TCN cannot transmit it to the discos. Because if they load the grid with the number of, the grid will collapse. So then thirdly, has to do with the privatization done by President Goodluck Jonathan. Instead of bringing experts in the energy sector to buy these companies, they give it to friends and cronies. So most of these discos do not have the financial power to be able to do a lot of things.
We were told that the federal government might take over some of this.
So that's the problem. When it comes to generation, we have problems of gas to turbines. When we have transmission, we have problems.
They will sue them.
We have problems with
laws,
the stringent
laws.
So what I think we should do is to decentralize power generation, transmission, and distribution. It will be easier. For example, if this government has shown willingness to solve the problem, they will be able to build transmission stations in each geopolitical zone and not rely on one national grid. And then we have to tell the discos to be professional in what they do. it is it's ridiculous that in 2023 there's still something called estimated bill. There shouldn't be estimated bill.
I want to talk about this people
yes, a lot of people are estimated bills. Yes. Even now to get the data, you have to pay. Which shouldn't be so. So those are part of the problem, because somebody will not give you electricity and they will give you estimated bill only into several thousands.
If you know the number of businesses and economic activities attached to lights, you understand why we are here. And if we don't record a kind of improvement in that sector, nothing will move.
A lot of companies that left Nigeria largely because of this electricity problem, and some have found a way to not rely on public electricity. Look at flour mills, for example. Flour mills is working 24 hours a day. So if you must keep your engines running 24 hours a day, you can't rely on public electricity, because sometimes you will just hear that, Egbe, they have gas issues. Egbe is the biggest gas-fired plant in West Africa, and it is the biggest that we have. Whenever they have issues there, we are in trouble. Whenever they have issues,
but they serve mostly Lagos.
So I think that we should look for alternative sources, build more dams. Hydro. Brazil is hydro that they are relying on. With water coming from the Amazon River. It's hydro that they rely on. We are not even saying rely on a source, but let's even try to look at other sources so that we don't rely on
we can also do wind.
This gas.
We can also do solar.
Because a lot of the power stations are built far away from the source of gas. Far away from the source of gas. So that in itself is a problem. So there are other sources off-grid sources, for example, that we can explore. Even if you use those ones to take care of our rural areas, at least let's explore more of the off-grid sources. Solar, we are blessed now, so much sun in our country. There is an airport, I think, in India that operates 100% on solar. The whole airport.
Well, we can maximize that.
Yes, so this is the potential is there for us to use solar a lot more. Potential is there. Let's not just focus on all these gas-fired power plants that from time to time we have issues with them.
Even hydro, at a point in time, they will tell you when the water level is down.
Of course.
Yeah, that is normal. That's normal. But it's also because we didn't have enough. There was a time that we were reliant on Kainji, but they just finished building another hydro power plant now in that same area. So hopefully, if we can build more, we can then see power generation from hydro sources, trying to match what is coming from gas-fired power plants, because the gas-fired power plants are many. We have more than 20 of them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution, and welcome back, Babajide Kolade Ozutoju. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us on Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday between 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Happy New Year! ShopX TV is proud to bring you a very special offer. Yes, from now till January 31st, 2023, we are offering our customers an opportunity to save up to 66% of our best-selling kiddies product. Struggling with energetic kids, but you just can't get them to sleep? You need Happy Nappers, the perfect plate pillows that pull open to a sleepy sack surprise. With a simple pull and zip, your child can snuggle up and nap inside of it.
They are happy, happy nappers. They love to to sleep and play with you.
Then, when it's time to sleep, you just pull on their feet. Sleepy time, playtime, anytime is happy napper time. And when the napping is done, they fold back in for even more fun. Ordinarily, play pillows or blankets are not as much fun. They don't hold the heat in, unlike happy nappers. Just look at the fun characters that your kids will love, and the sleep sacks are completely enclosed to keep your child warm and cozy during nap times or even through the night.
Toluani absolutely loves her Happy Nappers kitty cat. It's pink, girly, and fluffy. Everything that she loves. Well, I love it because it's a 2-in-1. She can play with it all day, and when she's tired, she can take a nap in it.
The Tano loves his Happy Nappers Grey Shark. He loves playing with it and has real adventures with the shark. It's been really hard for him to sleep recently, but thanks to his Happy Nappers Shark, he finds it so easy to sleep all through the night. And to be honest, it's simply easier for me too as well.
With millions of units sold worldwide, Happy Nappers is now available in Nigeria exclusively from ShopX TV. Every Happy Nappers character is unique. You can choose from Pink Cat, Grey Shark, White Unicorn, and even a Pink Unicorn. Don't forget, Happy Nappers comes with ShopX TV's 30-day money-back guarantee. Happy Nappers are a great gift for any child and comes in medium and large sizes. The large is ideal for kids that are over 7 years of age. Get the